Hello everybody, welcome to Beer Review. For tonight's little review we have another sort of interesting beer from the kind of Bermondsey scene kicking around in London at the moment. This is Fourpure's IPA, and as you can see it comes in a wonderful little can. Fourpure Brewing Company from Bermondsey in London. If you don't know about the Bermondsey kind of scene, the Bermondsey Wonder Mile for beer, really recommend you check it out. It's just essentially all these little railway arches in Bermondsey where they've got several different breweries, so Anspach and Hobday, Colonel, Fourpure, several others that names elude me at the moment, but it's a really, Partisan, really cool place to go on Saturdays. I think places are for like 12 till 4, so you get like a quick early afternoon drinking session where you can go and try different beers and from tap from pretty much the brewery. You know, they all brew underneath these arches, and they all kind of coincide really nice and peacefully, I suppose. So this is the IPA of Fourpure. I love the branding they have on their cans. They're called Fourpure, surprise, surprise, because they use 4 pure ingredients: the water, well, the barley, hops. Can we say barley, hops, water and yeast in their beers? Obviously, that's what all brewers use, but thinking Reinheitsgebot, only using barley, hops, yeast and water. It's got a range of different beers out there: a session IPA, a pale ale, a full-blown IPA, stout I want to say, and an amber from what I can remember. So yeah, like I said, love the cans, really nice little kind of imprint. These screen prints on the cans look great. They have hold it the right way around. They have all the information on the side of the can as well. So can I see it on the camera? Yeah. So it's 6.5% ABV. It is 2.2 units. Original gravity was 15 Plato. It's got 65 IBUs in it. EBC is 12. Calories 204. Serve at 10 degrees Celsius. Probably a little bit cooler than that, but it'll warm up in a minute. 330 mils. So 6.5% IPA. Let's crack it open, pour it out. I am gonna actually before we do that, let's crack it open and give it a good aroma sniff from the can, because the alchemist has got to me and they say you have to do this. Now, the other thing they do is as you can probably see on the can there, all the beers are inspired by journeys they've taken. This one particularly is by Portland, Oregon, in the US. Portland being the place that's got, oh dear, pouring it, that's got more breweries than any other city in the world. I think there's something like 50 something, ridiculous amount of breweries there. And this was inspired by a trip over there. I'm going to leave some in the can as well for sake, for trying side by side with what's in the can. Lots of carbonation too. So this is one that's inspired by that. It uses the 3C, Centennial, Cascade and Chinook, I believe, which is a very classic combination of hops to make a very classic American IPA. So should smell some of those typical, well, it smells it, but some of those typical citrus and pine aromas that you would expect to get from those. So as we see, it is wonderfully cloudy. I'm assuming they don't filter. I don't even know if they're used in the can, but they certainly don't filter out most of the gubbins that's in there, so there'll be tons of bits of floating hop resin in there. That's definitely not a bad thing. Laces really well, sticking wonderfully to the side of the glass. Nice head retention, slightly off-white, creamy coloured head. Nice. It's quite a deep colour actually. It's a little bit darker than I thought it might be. It reminds me of Atom, the IPA that from the brewery I work for. It's a little bit darker than your average IPA. More of a deep amber rather than kind of a bright switchy amber. Again, not a problem. The beer we produce is roughly the same colour, so I'd be shooting myself in the foot if I said that wasn't a good thing. So let's get in there while we've got ahead and give it a good smell. Oops. Oh yeah, it is absolutely laced, lashings and lashings of hops running all the way through this. Full on waxer in the nose with grapefruit and the orange. There's a nice little bit of weedy herbal note, you know, from the massive amounts of hops. Smells a bit weedy, bit like a bit of Mary Jane. A little bit of grassy herbiness too, and the piney notes. But it's wham bam with the American grapefruit and citrus notes. Hits you, whacks you in the nose. It smells absolutely awesome, really does. Again, cans, really good, no light penetration at all, no skunk in the beer, no oxygen is going to get in because it's a completely contained and sealed unit. Bottles are slightly leaky, they're letting slight amounts of UV rays as well, so it's going to stay fresher for longer in a can. And my god, does it smell damn good. So, cheers everyone, let's give it a try. Wow. Wow. There's a bit of an alcoholic punch to this actually, 6.5, but it's got that little bit of a alcoholic twinge at the back there. A little bit of, I wouldn't want to call it a burn, but something similar to. Wow. Well, that's really nice. That's really good. What malt sweetness there is very subdued, but there is this like sweetness. It's not a very typical, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a very, very light caramel, very, very light malt sweetness. Almost like a fruity sweetness. Which I guess ties in really well, because afterwards you get just absolutely slammed with the juiciest, fruitiest oranges and grapefruits, that pithy, slightly tart but fruity note, and a little bit of resin and pine in it too. That little tiny bit of marijuana weediness comes through in it too, but it's just intense, and it's so fresh and juicy. Yeah, it just seems, it dries up really quickly at the back end too, so like I said, that what sweetness is there, it kind of comes and it goes so suddenly, really quickly, that it's kind of hard to nail down, but it's definitely not a negative point, it's almost a positive. Well, it is a positive. The malt note does not detract away from the hop flavours, it's allowed to just sing and zing. I mean, there must be so much hoppy resin floating in this. In fact, well, there's a quick way we can find out. Oopsie. Can we see? Is there anything floating around on the inside? Not particularly, but I'm sure it's resinous and full of absolutely fresh hop flavours, and as much as they can extract, because it's just stupendously fresh. The only thing that I'm perhaps not 100% keen on is that slight, it almost feels like a little bit alcoholic burn just at the end. I don't know why that is. I don't know where it's particularly coming from, just my lighting a little bit. Don't particularly know where it's come from, but it's not entirely noticeable. It's just if I'm clutching at straws. If I really am picking at straws, that's one thing. It's very light in body too. There's a nice little bit of spritzy carbonation to it that helps it, but it's particularly light in body because I'm guessing they dried it up as much as they can do. It does not say what the final gravity is, but it would be interesting to know that. Cool, so enjoying that a lot. Just for sake's sake, let's do it from a can and give it a good smell. If anything from a can compared to, it's more piney in the can. There seems to be a little more green, grassy, hoppy notes. A lot more pine, if I'm honest. But with that sweetness still underneath it, and there's a little bit more alcoholic burn on the nose. You can smell a little bit more alcohol in it. So cheers. Let's try it from a can. Yeah. And I genuinely mean this, it's so surreal. You could just, if you were sat here right now and tasted them both, you would tell a distinct difference. Smoother, less bitter, more juicy, pinier, more resiny, and more bitter. And the carbonation's a lot more prominent, but then again, I did let that sit in the glass for a while. But the carbonation's a lot more spritzy. It really is effervescent on the tongue. It really is quite a little bit more bitter too. One of the weird things about beer, you know, drink it from the can and you get such a fresh flavour from it because there's barely anything's getting into the little top hole, while in the glass there's been a level of oxidation, I guess. Heck, you know, it's just a really good beer, this. It's a fantastically juicy and fresh beer. It's the sort of thing that we as brewers in England should have been hitting for a long time, that complete fresh note from sort of West Coast America, obviously Portland, Oregon, West Coast American hop hit, being able to extract as much flavour. This is one of those. If I was in America, I'd say, yeah, it's a really well done traditional American IPA. It's good, probably 8.5 beer. But for like an English brewer to do it in cans, and the whole ethos and the way they've done it really sings to me. They've kept it simple. Had a quick look at their other beers when I was in the store, and they've all got the same sort of feel to them. They're all, what's the point in going out using Amarillo, Simcoe and Citra, for example, or Superstar hops, when you could use 3 well-known, well-loved hops and produce such a good beer? I love it, and because of that, because it's meant to just be simple, 4 pure ingredients, done really well. This is, I'm stuck between calling it a 9 and a 9.5. I think I'm going to have to go for a 9. Until I've tried the rest of their range and seen, because I reckon there's some more crackers in there. The Session IPA really sounds like it'll be right up my street. But for a 6.5 beer, this is amazing. It's a great 9 out of 10. It's really impressed me. It's really impressed me, so I really recommend you go out and try it. If you do find yourself in London town, pop down to Bermondsey. I think it's 1 stop down from Tower Bridge, or you can get off at Bermondsey on the Jubilee line as well. It's my London knowledge coming in. I'm not sure if I'm right, but yeah, if you're going on the train, it's 1 stop down from Tower Bridge. You can't miss them. Really good. really good scene down there, so go check it out. So, thank you for watching. It's been a rather long-winded spiel today, but I hope you found it interesting. Please like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Until the next video review, cheers.